Welcome to the Not All Love and Light podcast with your host, Romy Moreno.
Today, I want to welcome Jonathan Robinson, certified hypnotherapist who specializes in past life regression, to the podcast. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So let us know a little bit about what exactly is past life regression or past lives.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big question, but I'll try to narrow it down. So the concept of past lives or past life regression revolves around kind of like reincarnation, but it's less religious and more spiritual. And so the concept is that we've all incarnated once, we can do it again. We've had multiple past lives that help us, our soul's journey in this evolution and gaining more enlightenment.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into this specialty? What attracted you to this modality?
Yeah, I've kind of always wondered the big questions in life. What happens after we die? When does the soul enter the body? Who runs the world? Things like that. And I figure there's 8 billion people on this planet. Someone's got to know the answer to all these questions. So I started being resourceful, looking into things. And I overheard someone talking about Michael Newton at a health food store one day. And then I went home and I researched him. And then he has multiple books on past life regression, as well as Dolores Cannon. Started reading all their books and found some profound evidence in this. You know, I'm a skeptic by nature, but I'm always trying to figure things out. So that's kind of how I got into it. And then my friends told me I would be a good bedtime storyteller. So I said, what can I do with that? So I learned hypnosis, and every single client I bring into their past lives has insightful sessions.
Yes, I agree, because we did a session together.
Yeah. And would consider that pretty successful. And what, do you want to talk about your
Yeah, of course. Well, I had never really connected with any of my past lives. I've always had certain feelings, or during meditations, some things come to me, but then I'm wondering, is that just my imagination or is that real? But sometimes it just feels like way too real, right? So I had never done a past life regression. I always wanted to do it. So when the opportunity came, I was really excited about that. But I was not expecting what happened.
Yeah,
with the first past life. So with that first past life, it was more of me, but from another dimension.
I get that sometimes because sometimes people dream of their past lives. Like children can often remember them because they operate in the theta frequency. And when we do hypnosis, we go to the theta frequency. And so a lot of times people can recall some dreams that are weird dreams or recurring dreams that are past life dreams. But a lot of people think they're using their imagination at the beginning of my sessions, but then they realize, oh no, I have a deep connection with what's happening. And this is, I'm just kind of gotta just go with it and believe your intuition. And if I recall right, your first past life, you were a healer that helped people transition, right?
Yeah. So in that past life, I would help people transition, but also I was at births too. So I would also transition people in and out of life. I couldn't have kids of my own in that lifetime.
Yeah. And it's pretty profound. Like the important elements of it come out, and it's not all like clear, like you're viewing a movie, but the important elements, like that deep connection of maybe not having kids or not wanting them or not being able to have them, was there. And you also help people transition from death, like from on their deathbed, so they have the smooth transition to the spirit world, and also bringing new incarnations in, which is pretty cool.
But I was, like I said, I was from another dimension, it was really close to what Avatar is. So I've been wondering, I'm like, is that why Avatar is one of my favorite movies? Because I feel so connected. Like when I watch that movie, I could get very emotional, feeling like that's a part of me. So it's had me thinking if maybe that is why, because I remember there was a moment where I was actually flying on my animal in the past life. And I
Yeah.
wasn't human. I wasn't human. And of course, after I'm like, did I do this wrong?
No, and the more I do this, the more open-minded I am because most people, we have past lives as humans. But, before Earth was here and after Earth isn't here, physically, our souls are eternal, right? So where were we before Earth, right? Where we're going to be after. So it makes sense that some parallel lives or our past experiences could have been on another planet system. I've had a lot of people from Syrian, Palladian, Arcturian, spirit guides, and things like that. And it's almost like they're monitoring your current incarnation to see how you're doing
Mm,
while you're here.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but the message was almost like I self-sacrificed a lot in that lifetime to the point that I didn't have kids because I couldn't continue to do the work that I was doing that I felt was so important if I did. It could relate to this lifetime as well, how, I could get so busy and caught up to actually do the things that I need to do for myself. And that's why I have to be very intentional with setting time for myself, going on my solo dates, spending intentional time with my kids, and not let work and life consume me.
Yeah. And that's a really important factor is the cycles or the patterns. So I've noticed a lot of healer, and I do past lives with pretty much everyone. Everyone can do it. It is good if you have some background in meditation or hypnosis and just relaxing. But I noticed a lot of healers in this current life used to be healers in their past life. Maybe they were a crystal healer or someone from Atlantis that was helping people heal. I had someone be this master Reiki energy person. So these patterns and these cycles continue because the way your spirit is, it's like a personality trait. It's like your own style is incarnating into these different bodies, but you bring over your essence of who you are with
Yeah,
each incarnation.
it's like your code.
Yeah, yeah. No one's exactly like one another. It's what makes life so unique.
My second past life, that one was a little rough, but I was able to get through it in the session. I wasn't a healer, but I was still very much an advocate and a fighter in that lifetime with the cult that was taken over by the village and destroyed, the children and all of that. That was a little intense, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure out that one.
Yeah, the and the higher self knows exactly what to show you when you're ready to see it. It won't show you. So if anyone's interested in they're worried about what I'm gonna see in my past life, or if I'm gonna be able, if it's too scary,
Mhm.
your higher self knows exactly what to show you and what not to show you.
Right.
I've done these sessions with like 6 times with a person, and they constantly go into different past lives as just whatever they're ready for at the moment. But it knows what to show you the most benefit you currently. A lot of fears, phobias, birthmarks come from past life traumas. And just like you can carry trauma from childhood to adulthood, you can carry trauma from past lives to your current life. And that's why this work is so important, because you're able to identify it, find those insights, and then clear that so your soul or your the evolution of who you are can proceed.
Yeah, that one was I could the personality seems the same though of who I am today. Like when I would see her, I'm like, yeah, that's still I could feel the energy is still the same. And you did such a good job of trying to whenever I would tell you the details of what was going on, you did such a good job of gear me away from that so we wouldn't go too into the darkness. So you did a really good job of that. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Yeah, that's really important because we do go through the death scene in a lot of my sessions for important reasons, but you don't need to experience it like you're there. We can be an observer. So we're just observing from this perspective. We don't need to take on that negative things, but I also amplify the positive things, right? So I think there are some things I said,
Mhm.
that'll remain with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the third past life, that one was very interesting. I was a witch, and I remember I was walking down the street going to a place for me to buy herbs. And I didn't initially know for what until I realized that I was making teas for people. So that was really cool because herbs are very healing. Plant medicine is very healing. So it also is related to who I am today.
Yeah, absolutely. Healers have been healers, and people sometimes, if they're struggling with relationship things, have had certain things happen in their past, and it's so beneficial for one to reinforce those positive things that, oh, I was a healer, I can do it again if I've done it before. So it's really empowering, and it's also when there's some negative aspects of patterns that we want to get rid of, it can also be empowering to gain insight from that, clear that, leave the hurt behind, and move forward in a positive way.
I really found it really interesting too. My family in that lifetime, I was really, really close to the daughter that I had and how she wanted to just do everything that I was doing. And I would spend a lot of time with her, teaching her how to make the teas, and she was just so excited to learn. And she wanted to be just like me. So that was really beautiful because I feel that I have two boys. I have two sons. I had two sons in that lifetime too, but I was the closest to my daughter. But little girls are super like attracted to me. Like whenever they meet me, like around 7, 8 years old, up to 9 maybe, they like love me and they just want to be around me and talk to me. And I always find that super cute. But it was almost like that energy that I've noticed that, little girls usually have in this lifetime is the energy that my daughter had with me in that lifetime.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool to have that bond
Mhm.
with the daughter in the past life, and also notice the kids, indigo children or whatever wave of kids are coming in now. They, like I mentioned, from 0 to about 8 or 9, they operate in theta frequencies. So that's why kids can learn multiple languages really quickly. They're being programmed for adolescence and then complex, adult situations. So it's really important to be very positive with children, very uplifting, and not to be negative because that stays with them. They don't have a shield like you and I do yet. They just absorb everything like they're under hypnosis, like they're just being ready. So
They're
if kids can,
sponges. They're little
yeah,
sponges.
and
Yeah.
I think they can see our auras like a little bit subconsciously, so they could probably see yours or my aura, and they're like, "Whoa, this bright, glowy person."
Yeah. Yeah, my son is super intuitive. He's 6 years old. My older one is too, but he's more reserved. My little one, sometimes he says things and I'm like, I don't know if that's a warning or I should just not pay attention, but I kind of feel like I have to.
More and more people are coming to me for children's past lives because children can actually remember them, and sometimes they have bad dreams about them. So it's good for them to see someone about them if the parents, think they should. But there's actually a website. I'll send you the information after this, but I'm going to put some of this on my social media. But I want to include this evidence in the profound, evidence of what happens after we die, near-death experiences, psychic mediums, things like that, and children's past lives as part of a series or information I'm putting out there.
I had never experienced anything like this, and I'm still integrating the session. We did it, what, like 2 weeks ago? Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. So I'm still integrating and journaling and just allowing whatever comes up to come up based on the session, but it was definitely a really cool experience. And it did give me reassurance because I already knew that I came into this lifetime to be a healer. Like I knew I had already come to this life, just astrologically looking at my birth chart. But to see it in different lifetimes and then also in different dimensions. It was
Yeah.
really cool. I loved it. It was awesome.
So happy. And that's why I love what I do as well. I'm not only fascinated by each session because they're all special and unique, and just helping people, empowering them. So, if you're on your life path, you kind of know it because you're excited about it every day. But I'm curious to ask you, what was your perspective at what you thought it was going to be compared to what it was?
I usually don't like to have any expectations of things. To me, it turned out to be pretty much what I thought, which is a meditation, going into like a meditation and seeing it like a movie, right? Which is what happened. I just didn't know that I could experience past life from other dimensions. Like that's the one that really like caught me off guard that I was like, did I do this wrong?
Yeah, yeah, that does happen sometimes, and you're ready for it. I've even had, yeah, I have a lot of stories. I could go on and on, but most of the time it's people from past lives from Earth. Other times, in between lives, where do we go in between lives? So with past life regression, there's several books, Life in Between Lives. I might even be publishing one in the future. It's so hard to associate or think about like dimensions. We don't have anything. We need more language and words for metaphysical terms. We don't have anything to associate it with.
Right. So what happens in between lives?
So from my research, Dolores Cannon, Michael Newton, and the people I help, we all ask similar questions or the same questions to thousands and thousands of people. So if it was just one person giving an answer, that might not be very credible. But if it's thousands and thousands of people, and this can, from all different backgrounds, walks of life, cultures, things like that.
Hey, it's me, Romy. I want to share a moment with you. You know, we often talk about healing, growth, and doing the work on this podcast. But where do you start? When you're feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges, trapped in the past, worried about the future, or like you're constantly battling your own thoughts and emotions. Living in a reactive state versus response, passing up opportunities because of lack of confidence and fear, not knowing how to set boundaries with others, but most importantly with yourself. That's why I created my Healing the Root Cause program. It's for those out there feeling overwhelmed and yearning for change, connection, authenticity. Pretty much, you're tired of your own shit. Together, using my proven root framework, we'll recognize your triggers, overcome the past, operate with confidence, and transform your life. As I say, it's not all love and light, and this healing journey is about confronting the shadows and embracing the mess, but still loving yourself through it all. I'll be right there with you, guiding you on this journey, every raw moment, every breakthrough, every step of the way. So if you're feeling that tug and want to apply to work with me, fill out the application in the show notes, and we'll see if we're a good fit for each other and take it from there. Either way, I'm rooting for you.
They all say the similar or same thing. They say after we die, we're led by our spirit guide back to the spirit world, another dimension most likely, where we heal from our earth trauma. So there's a lot of trauma we incur on earth. So we got to go to an intense healing area for that. We do a life audit. So we audit ourselves. There is no hell, from what I've never had that happen yet. You're your own biggest critic. So there are guides and counsels that'll help you kind of see what you did right, what you did wrong. Then you go back to your spirit group. It's a group of about 12 to 20 like-minded souls that are kind of on the same level as far as there's no hierarchy in the spirit world, but they're on the same vibrational resonance as you. So those are the people that you incarnate with multiple lifetimes, soulmates, children, friends, things like that. And you get back with your spirit group, and then you plan your next incarnation. So you have a say kind of in what you want to accomplish and what your soul's contracts are for your next incarnation. And then you get ready to incarnate. In between there's probably a lot of different things, but that's kind of the layout or foundation of what I've researched.
It's like that movie Soul. Did you see the movie Soul? The Disney?
Yeah, I like that movie.
It's that, right?
I love it, except for the comical part where he becomes an animal.
Right.
I like it spot on.
That's great. I didn't even, maybe that they did that based on research.
I think they did a good job. I think you know, it has to be funny and comical and kind of just
I mean, it's Jamie
so that,
Foxx, kind of have to.
yeah, the part where it becomes an animal is less likely. But the rest of it, I thought it was very informative.
Mhm. Yeah, because you cannot reincarnate as an animal. Animal souls are different.
Animal souls, Dolores Cannon says, are more like plant souls. They're kind of a group soul. So everything has consciousness. So they've attached polygraph tests to trees. And if you had an intention to hurt the tree, the polygraph test would go crazy.
Mm.
So everything has consciousness. It's just they say that love is what helps us evolve or elevate. So when you show an animal or a tree or something love, that helps it become more of what we are.
Of course. Imagine if people did that with themselves.
Well, going off that thought of they keep telling me love is the only way as well. And so, you know, we need to work more out of fear and more into the love state as a global community to raise the consciousness of Earth. And so when we're in that love state, that's a really high frequency, right? So that's what we want to strive to be in more.
That is the highest frequency, I feel. I feel also, apart from love, authenticity is a very high frequency. People could feel when you're real and when you're not.
Yeah, we needed you to be yourself. There's a lot of puzzle pieces. We don't need duplicates. We just want everyone to be their true authentic self. A lot of people shield that because when we're kids, we're made fun of, or you know, someone tells us we're not good enough or something, but then we put a shield up. But really just go back to that innocent child, playful mindset where you're just having fun, don't care about what others think, being yourself.
Does the soul ever stop reincarnating? Does it get to a point that's like, I've reached the highest potential, like I'm done, I've evolved enough?
So the book of Ra, or Ra's teaching, RA, Aaron Apke, he's a social media person I follow, and he has some good videos on it. But there's a book of Ra, and it's a channeled, basically they channel a collective of entities, and they're channeling their words from it, kind of like mediums can channel different things. And they say, they say we start off as very simple, maybe level 1, like a rock or a inanimate object. Then maybe a plant is level 2. Then now we're in 3D as a person. 4D would be these complex thoughts and ideas manifesting. 5D is what they say we're shooting toward next. We're going to skip 4D, go to 5D. And then like a 6th or 7th density soul would be very, very evolved. Maybe gurus like Jesus and Gandhi and other ones maybe have been there and incarnated to help us. But they always say we go back to source. So after, you know, we go back to source, which is another term for God, and that's why he created us, kind of to have these experiences and gain
Why?
insight.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah, I know. What is
What
all
is the
this?
ultimate purpose?
Life is so simple and complex at the same time.
Right, right. I think it to me, do you watch Marvel movies?
Some of them.
Doctor Strange, not sure if you've seen that one.
I've seen that one. Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay, so you see how they do like the metaverse and the different dimensions. I feel like there's so much truth to a lot of these movies now. And I'm like, what do you guys know that we don't know yet?
Yeah. Yeah, they're laying it out there, and it's helping people expand their minds. I think The Matrix was a huge one for that too.
Yeah,
King Arthur,
I haven't seen that one.
maybe Lord of the Rings. I just had a session with someone who went into kind of and I haven't had a lot of sessions like this recently or noticeably, but I had a session where someone went into a life as a wizard, and he was from a different dimension. He could go in and out, but I'm like, all right, well, tell me about how you learned to be a wizard. So, you know, I'm always trying to learn, like, how'd you figure that out? So he told me he was in this classroom, kind of like Harry Potter or Hogwarts kind of thing, and he was learning. He flew a dragon like you flew on something. And but he said, yeah, it wasn't like Earth, it was another dimension that he was learning or having these experiences from. So it was pretty interesting.
That's That's great to know that I'm not the only one traveling to other dimensions in your sessions.
Yeah. But a lot of people like you get flashbacks. Some people have dreams and they might dream of their past lives. Some people might be watching a movie like you watched Avatar. I had someone who was watching the Titanic and they got a flashback of they locked the people in the bottom of the boat at the end in the jail.
Mhm.
And he had a past life where he he was forced to fight in the Colosseum in like Rome, and he had a tingly birthmark on his back. So in his past life, he had to fight in the Colosseum. The king made his family watch him in a cage, and that's why he had the flashback from the Titanic scene. He was stabbed in the back with a trident, and that's exactly on the spot where his birthmark and felt itchy was.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard a lot about, especially with children. There was this story that I read about this little boy that he had a birthmark. I believe it was, I'm not sure if it was on his, like here or on his back, but he remembered exactly how he died. And he took his parents to where his body was buried.
Oh, is that the one where he saw the farmer and he said, "You're the one that killed me," and then they dug the skull up and they found that he murdered
Yes,
someone?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's insane. I
Oh
still
my
get
gosh.
goosebumps reading that. Can you imagine? You killed me. It's like, oh
Yeah.
shit, you came back from the dead and you're like, ah.
Yeah. Wow.
That's insane. That's insane. And then he had a birthmark where he was killed.
Absolutely. And everyone that comes to me with birthmarks now, I'm kind of starting like an investigative study on this because it's fascinating. So sometimes I can guide them to specific past lives. A lot of times I'll have the higher self guide them to what's most relevant. But I can be, for example, I can say, all right, bring me to the lifetime where you got the birthmark. And a lot of times they'll go through the whole life experience. And if we haven't gotten to the moment yet, I'll say, bring me to the moment where you had the trauma happen. And so, okay, for example, this one person was on a hike and they loved hiking. They had a birthmark on their leg. Well, in the past life, they were hiking and they fell down a mountain and they got impaled by a stick or a log on their leg. And they ended up being on a trail where no one could help them and save them. They had no service and they ended up kind of bleeding out. And after they pulled the thing out, and that's where the birthmark was from.
Do you keep a log of these stories?
I record for everyone listening to, I record the session and send you the recording after. Not that you aren't aware, so you're completely conscious during the session. It's just there's a lot of information. So when we do sessions, anyone really you do PLR or past life regression with, will record it now. So I have all recordings and I am taking kind of a log to help.
I just had like a vision of you like writing like a book, but with these stories.
There's a Netflix series called Surviving Death, but it's pretty cool. It has some children's past life stories, near-death experience, and mediums in it.
Like interesting. I'm sure you come up across some really interesting stories that could be interesting for other people to read.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, I love to share more stories with people, and as long as they can learn from it and gain insight from it. We do these kind of out of curiosity, but also to heal from as well. So it's very empowering to help your soul's evolution. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of different reasons.
And that was my next question. Using this session, what should be the person's next step in order to heal from past life patterns, traumas, situations that are still affecting them today? Because the session could make them aware, but what is the next step?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And so what we do during the session is important for relevance, for insight. If there was any traumatic experiences, trauma gets trapped in the body as emotion, and we're able to release that emotion during the session. And you can also become more aware of it. So after the session, you integrate what you've learned so you can do it in your meditations, however your holistic wellness practices are. But the integration takes place days, weeks, months afterward. A lot of people get signs and symbols in their dreams and meditations a day or two after.
You also practice Reiki. Is that something that could help? with the integration process as well?
Yeah, yeah, I love Reiki. I do it during my sessions to help people as well. And I think everyone should learn that, just like they should learn meditation. It's a stepping stone. Yoga is in sports or just, manipulating your body and breathing and calmness and whatnot. That's kind of 3D. I imagine that as like the tip of the iceberg. But then there's Reiki and meditate and all these different things that are like the iceberg. So don't stop. If you're started, guys, and you're out there, keep going. There's so much to learn, and it's so exciting.
Yeah, definitely find what works for you because, yoga is not for everyone. Reiki might not feel like it's for everybody. Try different things. Like there's so many different things. Like who would think you could go into your past lives, right? This is something that I learned, a couple years ago. I'm like, well, what do you mean? And I went to some meditations that they were doing past life regressions, like group meditations, and I could tell you, like, no, I never connected with anything ever. I was just like, this is ridiculous.
Okay. Yeah, I don't do a lot of group sessions because of it's so personal to
Right,
each
right.
one.
I
Yeah.
could see how that could be so personal because if somebody starts going through a really traumatic past life, how are you going to hold space for somebody like that in such a huge group? Like I'm telling you that it was a huge group and it was just it didn't benefit me at all, at least. Or maybe I started thinking, well, maybe I can't connect to a past life. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah. Yeah, I feel that. And I've listened to thousands of self-guided hypnosises on YouTube and paid for sessions, and none of them are the same, especially the past life ones, as the one I do or the one we do with how we get there.
Do you have a YouTube channel with hypnosis meditations?
So I have a YouTube channel. It's so my Instagram and YouTube channel and website's Journeys into Past Lives, journeysintopastlives.com, or journeys underscore between each word. But I post full sessions on there. And so if you want to kind of experience what it's like from another person's perspective, you can listen to their sessions. And in the future, I will be coming out with more self-guided like meditations and hypnosises. If you click the link, one of my links on this video or podcast, I'll send you my free guided energy clearing visualization.
Perfect. Yeah, send me the link and I'll add it to the show notes because I feel the recorded hypnosis has worked for me depending on who it's with. Like are you familiar with Michael Seeley?
Oh yeah,
He is
he has so many videos.
but he is amazing. The first time I did his hypnosis, I got scared because I literally felt like I was elevating and I just jumped and I was like, no, 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 what's happening? Where am I going? No, no, no. So I was able to connect in that sense. But the past life hypnosis and stuff like that, I haven't tried his. I don't know if he has any, but when I've tried to listen to meditations about past life, again, I haven't been able to connect like I was able to connect in your session.
Nice. And that's a huge thing. That's a good point. So you have to vibe and resonate with the practitioner. You got to trust them, know that they have your best interest in mind, because a lot of and guys, if you've never done hypnosis before, it's not like Hollywood. It's completely natural. We go in and out of it every day. It's not mind control. It's helping you control your mind more. So it's you allow yourself to go deep just like you do when you meditate.
Yeah.
Um, so we install programs, we take out traumatic experiences, and we can help you focus on what you really want to be focused on. So it's almost like a cheat code, or not a biohack, but it's a mind hack where you can help your subconscious learn what to lead you toward more often.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was aware of everything. I don't want to say conscious because I don't think I was conscious 100%, but I wasn't completely not there. I was there.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
couldn't
exactly.
control anything, if that makes sense. Like I couldn't control like the outcome of what was happening. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah. You're letting it come naturally to you. Whatever happens, you're allowing it to come to you freely and naturally. That's perfect. So you did it right.
Yeah, I initially thought I was a cave woman when we went into that first past life because I couldn't see myself and I was in a cave and there was a fire and it was like a drum circle. Like not there weren't drums, but it was just a ceremonial thing around fire. And I am very connected to fire, very connected to fire. So that was really cool to see. And I initially thought I was a cave woman until I realized no, I'm a
Yeah.
creature of some sort.
Yeah, just keep letting it play out. I always say you'll be shown more information the more you just go with it, and you'll be shown more and more. Some people it's a knowing, like you mentioned, it's more of a visual thing. So that's absolutely wonderful. It's like a sport. You get better at it the more you do it. So the more you meditate, the more you do hypnosis, the more deeper you can go, more easily. I do hypnosis on myself like every other day, probably. It's really natural state of mind. So to utilize it is a powerful thing.
I've loved this conversation. I loved our session. It was great. Do you have any last things you want to share with our listeners?
Just glad that you liked the episode. If you're coming here from one of my followers, listen to more of her episodes. They're really good. It's not all love and light. I love the concept, and it's a lot of wonderful spiritual people on these podcasts. And I'm just happy to be one of your podcast members. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, I know you've actually been very intentional with this process and have listened to a bunch of my episodes. So I thank you for supporting the podcast because my best friend and I, we love doing this. We love this podcast and it's not all love and light.
Love it. Yeah, you're gonna get more and more people on here, so I'm excited to listen to more episodes as well. So thanks for having me.
You're welcome. If this episode was interesting and you'd like to share it, feel free to do so, leave a review, and don't forget to follow Jonathan and take a look at his work. He's amazing. I enjoyed my session. And remember, guys, it's not all love and light.